This is Virgil. Says, I'm producing a scalp oil. How do I protect myself from a liability perspective, or what word should I use on labels to protect myself? And that's a two-part question. That's a Latoicha and a Margaret question, really.
Also, Angela, she deals a lot with liability, right, Angela?
Yeah, with claims.
Claims.
With claims, yeah. So this is a scalp oil. How do I protect myself? Or what word should I use on the labels to protect myself? And I'm not sure what, Virgil, give us a little bit more, like what are you looking to protect yourself from? Yeah. I'll let them answer the question, but there's a lot. Yeah, because I don't see anything on here about claims specifically. And I'm not sure, maybe give us either more details on the scalp oil or more details on what kind of protections you're talking about.
And sometimes, Elaine, they don't know they're writing claims when they say make your hair grow. That is a claim. So
yeah.
See, and you see it so often it becomes a norm. So that is considered a claim.
I think he said word somewhere in when you read it. Seemed like I said
what word
word.
Should I use on the labels?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and I would also say it's dependent on what are you trying to protect, what words are you trying to use as far as, on the label, before I could give him any advice on, what type of disclaimers he can use.
Yeah. I can give him just an example of what words. Immediately when he said that, I was thinking of a words not to use.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because you do stay away when you're selling a cosmetic product from words like itchy, words like grow, because then that makes it now a drug claim.
Oh, okay.
And if you're going to use the word itchy, which several cosmetic manufacturers will use that word, you have to put that little asterisk for the disclaimer to say itchiness as it relates to dryness.
Okay.
Because if you just said itchy, then it's going to be associated with dandruff or psoriasis, and that makes it a drug claim.
I learned something new.
Yeah, then again, I don't know what he's declaring as the weight, the fill weight, the volume, how, all that. Again, the FDA.gov is kind of scary because there's a lot of information out there. But if you just type in the word label, they have a section that's dedicated to cosmetics. Like Angela said, they have a section that deal with drugs, and people get that kind of confused, and they don't think that's a drug. I think a drug is some name they can't pronounce, but that's not a drug. When you make a claim, when you make a claim once, and again, I guess that people don't think it's a claim. It stops this. But my aunt said it made her hair grow, but you can't do that. You can't say stuff like that.
One little advice maybe I'm coming from a marketer's perspective, before when you're writing or thinking about writing your copy, look at the big company brands, because they have already crossed some hurdle as far as regulatory. Not to say that that's exactly what you're going to say it shouldn't be, but that'll give you guidance, because when, like what Angela said about, the word itchy, you probably would see an asterisk on a brand that's made by, let's say, a L'Oreal or something, and they would have the, the disclaimer, so you'll kind of get a cue. Okay, if I use that word, then, the big companies are using a disclaimer. So that gives you, they're just words like, that are out there, like growing and healing and restoring and stimulating, all these words, and big companies have to change labels all the time when their brand name or something is, not compliant, because it costs millions of dollars to deal with it.
And it's definitely something that we as a group can talk about in more detail and probably some of our webinars. Because Shawn, even to your point, when you use the word healing, like there are products out there now that say healing all. And you can say healing as long as you're not saying you're healing a condition or a treatment. It's a treatment.
This type of healing.
So you can't, you can have a healing oil that has a nice fragrance, and you can talk about, healing dryness, you know, because that's still very cosmetic. But when you start speaking of it as, again, as it relates to itchy or psoriasis or even a massaging oil, you just have to be careful of how you use the word. So there's some words that are okay for a cosmetic claim, but it only takes one word added to it to change it from a cosmetic claim to a OTC product, over-the-counter drug product.